those that haven't had the pleasure, if you please silence your cell phones, we'd appreciate that. And then after we call the roll and approve the minutes, we take the items one at a time. First, city staff presents on an item. Then it's opened up just to the commission for technical questions. Once we're done with those, we go back to open things up for the public. If you have something to say on an item, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address so we have it for the minutes. And then after public commentary is done, we close public comment, bring it back to the commission for discussion and a vote. So with that, let us call the roll, Amina.
Kathleen Propp. Here. Lindsay Erickson. Here. Michael Ford.
Here.
John Hintz.
Present.
John Kiefer.
Here.
Lori Palmieri.
Here.
Thomas Perry.
Here.
Justin Mitchell.
Here.
Derek Groth. Thomas Voitek.
Here. Moving on to the approval of the minutes from June 4th. Do we have any additions, corrections, deletions, et cetera, et cetera?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion clearly passes. Moving on, item number 1, access control variance for reduced lateral clearance at 1222 West South Park Avenue. Has anybody done any site inspections over there? We have one. We accept the staff report as part of the record. Now it's up to you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So here's the subject site. The request is for an access control variance to permit reduced lateral clearance for a parking area. The subject site is an irregularly shaped parcel, about 4.5 acres in size, located on the north side of West South Park Avenue, west of Knapp Street. The site has a manufacturing use to the rear of the site and an office building closer to West South Park Ave. The surrounding area is mostly residential uses to the west, south, and east, and the quarry to the north. The site does have 2 accesses off of West South Park Ave, both gravel accesses, one being here and the other one being here. So the petitioner is proposing to do a parking area that will have 4 parking stalls, access from an existing gravel driveway fronting West South Park Avenue. It will have a 30-foot front setback from West South Park Ave and also a 30-foot lateral clearance to the parking spaces. Code requires a 75-foot lateral clearance, so that's where the access control variance is required. Staff does not see any concerns with the access control variance request, as there's only 4 parking stalls, so that should not create any stacking issues in the driveway, so there should really be no traffic concerns there. Staff is recommending a condition that the there was a 3rd gravel driveway kind of put in there illegally at some point in time, so staff is recommending a condition that gravel driveway entrance be eliminated. And with that, staff recommends approval of the access control variance for reduced lateral clearance from West South Park Avenue to 30 feet, where code requires a minimum of 75 feet, with the condition that the gravel driveway and entrance to the southwest of the existing driveway be removed.
Thank you, Brian. Technical questions?
I just have one, and that is, so if that driveway is removed, what is it replaced with? Turf?
Grass or a landscape surface.
What is
Go ahead.
what is the intent of 75 feet setback?
So the intent of that section of our code is to make sure you have sufficient room for stacking of vehicles as they would be entering the site. So for example, if a vehicle was backing out here, that cars would have an opportunity to wait for that to finish and not be stacked out into the road.
Other technical questions? Seeing none, it's open for public comment. If there's any questions or statements from the applicant, this is a good time for that too. Come on up, sir. State your name and address so we have for the minutes, and tell us what you think.
My name is Aaron Johnson, and I am the property owner and also the petitioner. My address is 2870 Wildwood Road in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. This is a project that we have been working on since 2017, and we were not aware of how difficult the parking area would be. We're currently working with the city on creating a parking lot. There was some existing apron and curb there when we purchased the property, when we purchased the manufacturing facility. And so we're just asking for this variance so that we're able to put a parking lot right in front of the building for star protection and patrol.
Do we have any questions for the petitioner? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else here from the public to speak to this item today? All right, public commentary is closed. Back to the commission.
Move approval? Oh, I have to say it
Yeah,
correctly.
get it.
Motion to adopt the findings and recommendations as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Kiefer,
Aye.
Palmieri,
Aye.
Perry,
Aye.
Mitchell,
Aye.
Crop,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
Ford,
Aye.
Hintz,
Aye.
Boytek.
Aye.
Motion carried 9-0.
Changing of the guard at the table there. Moving on to item number 2, an extraterritorial 3-lot land division and certified survey map at the south 3900 block of Brooks Road in the town of Oshkosh. Do we have any site inspections in that neighborhood? Okay, seeing none, we accept the staff report as part of the record. On to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a request for a 3-lot land division in the town of Oshkosh, located at the south 3900 block of Brooks Road. The site is approximately 1 mile north of the city of Oshkosh city limits. Up on the screen, I have a air photo showing the proposed land division. The site is currently used agriculturally, pretty much 100%. As it sits today, it consists of 2 lots divided by this pink line right here. What the petitioner is, or applicant is requesting is to divide off a 5-acre parcel off of these 2 existing lots of record. Proposed lot 1 is shown to be 5 acres in size, lot 2 almost 28 acres in size, and lot 3 31 acres in size. The purpose for the land division is to sell the 5-acre parcel and with plans to develop it with a single-family home and some outbuildings for the property. The land division does retain a 66-foot wide strip of land. This is to enable eventual future access if and when the back area of the land chooses to or will develop at some point in the future. 66 foot is generally the width of a public road or public right-of-way. So the city is happy they considered that. At the current time, there should be no immediate changes in existing land use patterns in the area. Lots 2 and 3 will continue to be farmed, and as I mentioned, lot 1 will be developed with a single-family home and some outbuildings. The city's comprehensive plan recommends this area for rural residential, and the proposed land division is consistent with with the plan's recommendation. The Department of Public Works reviewed this division and did not have any additional concerns. So with that, this is just a copy of the actual survey map that was submitted to the city showing the proposed division. And staff is recommending approval of the 3-lot land division / certified survey map as proposed.
Thank you, sir. Any technical questions? Go ahead, Justin.
Sure. So not specifically to pick on this particular project, but just in general, maybe this is best for Mark. The comprehensive plan talks about the importance of agricultural preservation and farmland preservation. Specifically cites it as critical. It also references data that shows about 10% loss of Winnebago County farmland over the course of a decade on average. And I think that makes sense what they're proposing, but just a couple of questions if I can.
Yep.
And I typed them up just so that you don't have to try and write them down if that's easier for you. But curious what actions the department or city hall is taking to preserve farmland.
So, for example, this is an extraterritorial plat or subdivision, which the city has. It's still on the books on the state law that we have extraterritorial review. However, our ability to do so is extremely limited in what we actually have authority to review. We basically have to review it for, is it consistent with the land use within the comprehensive plan? So in this case, the comprehensive plan is rural residential. It does include both of those residential uses and agricultural uses as you've outlined. We don't really have any authority to go beyond that of saying, yes, this is consistent with the land use pattern our comp plan calls for. So in terms of, do we have a specific farmland preservation ordinance that the city follows or policy? We do not, because we do have, like I said, 4 or 5 years ago, we had a decent amount of authority when it came to extraterritorial subdivisions and platting. Most of that has been stripped away under the state law, and we're very limited in what we're actually permitted to review on these things.
Sure. And so for this, and this kind of ties into number 2, then, when, let's say you take a plot of land and you remove it, and it's no longer going to be for farm use, there's nothing that we do to kind of offset that or to try and counter that somewhere else to make up for that lost land space?
We do not know.
And then, so I've done 2 meetings, and both of them included loss of farmland, and so I'm just curious if, do you maintain like a database of all of the farmland requests that have come through your department or through this board, and kind of maintain how much loss we have?
We do not, because it's not something we have statutory authority to actually regulate.
So it's one of those things that's in the comprehensive plan that says it's really important and we're going to work to preserve it, but we don't really work to preserve it.
It's the difference between some of the recommendations in the comp plan and the state law, which specifically references land use within the comprehensive plan.
Although this request is common.
This request
We
is
get these all,
common.
I mean,
Right.
because people are getting out of the farm
Yeah.
business or whatever.
Well, I guess, and this again gets broader than this specific one, but I'd be curious, and maybe this isn't the appropriate role for a board, but or for a board member, but I'd be curious to like have or review some sort of strategies that communities implement for preserving farmland. I can't believe that this is unique to Winnebago County, and
It's not, there are a lot of communities that have agricultural standard ordinances which define minimum lot size of subdivisions when it comes to agricultural property. Jeff, do you know if Winnebago County has a,
Minimum lot size, I believe it's 5 acres in this particular zoning, which is A2 county.
yeah, so for example, the county has adopted what they call their agricultural standard. They don't want to see any lots in agricultural zonings less than 5 acres in size. So this would be consistent with that.
sure.
Other technical questions, Lori?
I guess just as a follow-up to that, then, so if we say in our comp plan that, what was it, we're losing 10%, or we are, was it 10% per?
They reference a 5-year period in which
5-year period.
farmland went down by 5.2%.
So if we referenced that in the comprehensive plan, it would seem that we are tracking that somewhere, because where would we have got that figure?
East Central Regional Plan Commission, working through
Okay.
the counties, tracks a lot of that information.
Okay.
The city specifically does not, but it's something we definitely can look at. I don't see a reason we wouldn't want to investigate that further.
Other technical questions? All right, time for public comment. Anybody here to speak to this item today? Okay, nobody. Back to the commission. Discussion and a vote.
Motion to adopt the findings and recommendation as stated in the staff report.
Second. Discussion? Now we'll leave anything? All right. Call the roll.
Kiefer,
Aye.
Palmieri,
Aye.
Perry,
Aye.
Mitchell,
Aye.
Prop,
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Ford,
Aye.
Hintz,
Aye.
Wojtek.
Aye.
Motion carried 9-0.
On to item number 3, a Gilman annexation from the town of Oshkosh, 575 West Snell Road. Any site inspections out there? All right, thank you, John. We accept the staff report as part of the record. On to you, sir.
Thank you. This is a request for an annexation by unanimous approval of approximately 5 acres of land from the town of Oshkosh into the city of Oshkosh. The subject site is located at 575 West Snell Road, which is approximately 800 feet west, or 900 feet west of Jackson Street. Subject site's located right in the center here. The site is currently developed with a single-family home and has a Winnebago County zoning designation of R2 Suburban Residential District subdivided. The surrounding area is more or less a well-established, low-density residential neighborhood adjacent to the Jackson Street corridor and the State of Wisconsin Correctional Facility approximately a quarter mile to the west. The request was brought forward to the city for the property to obtain city sanitary sewer and water main. I was informed that the on-site septic system on the property is nearing the end of its useful life, and the property owners are requesting to attach to city sanitary sewer and water main. The proposed zone district the city is proposing would be an SR3 zone district, which is comparable to the county's R2 zone district. The comprehensive plan designates this area appropriate for light density residential use, and the proposed zoning district permits the existing single-family use for the property by right. The Department of Public Works reviewed this request and stated that city sanitary sewer and water main were constructed in front of the property in 1984 and 2002 respectively. The Oshkosh Fire and Police Departments reviewed the request and do not have any concerns with being able to provide services to this property. So with that, staff is, well, it's just an aerial photo of the subject site showing the typical single-family house with other yard features. And this is the annexation map that's being submitted to the state of Wisconsin for review. And staff is recommending approval of the Gilman annexation with a temporary and permanent zoning of single-family residential 3 district as requested.
Technical questions? Yeah.
Jeff,
Mm-hmm.
can you go back to that? Yeah, that one.
Mhm.
I don't see it on the legend there, but what's the red and white dashed line? Is that the city and town boundary?
This is, well, it's a zoning district boundary, but in this
Zoning
area, it's
district.
pretty much serves the same thing as the city-town boundary, so it's kind of pocketed in and out. Every couple of years, we probably snag a couple of these properties on Snell Road as septic systems start to fail.
And then on the analysis where they request the property be annexed with a single-family residential 3, the SR3, to match adjacent SR3 zoning. So we would just be bringing in a less dense zoning from the town into the city limits, right?
No, the county's designation's probably slightly different. It's different base standards than our zone district. Like, for example, the city has 5 different single-family districts. You got SR, I don't know, sorry. Well, we have SR2, 3, 5, and 9 single-family districts, each with different density recommendations. And the county has their own various single-family districts, with this one being light residential subdivided. They're comparable as far as density requirements or recommendations, but the numbering doesn't necessarily match the city's numbering, I guess that's how you can see it.
So the SR3 would allow, like a multifamily under a certain number, a duplex, triplex?
No, it's a single-family district, which only allows single-family uses by right. The number behind it, like in this case, the SR3, that's a recommendation of 3 dwelling units per acre.
Right,
Mhm.
per acre.
And SR5, it's higher density, it's 5 dwelling units per acre, and 9, and so forth.
Right.
The county's designation, I believe it's similar to that, where they're looking at like a 2 dwelling unit per acre recommendation with the existing R2 designation. So it's the closest comparison to the county's existing zoning, and it is consistent with what the city currently has zoned around it for the properties that are currently located in the city.
So I guess my question is, on the technical end, is with bringing the more rural town into city limits, and we've got that kind of leapfrog going on. If we continue to do that with single family, with the 3 dwelling units per acre, how do we end up meeting some of our increased density objectives if we continue to bring less dense in?
Well, areas like this, they're already developed. There's not much more opportunity for the increase of the residential densities in this area. The SR3 district does have slightly larger lot requirements as far as the sizes. I believe it's a 10,000 square foot minimum. But in this case, the existing development is what it is. So as the properties come in, we're not expecting to see any type of redevelopment activities in this area because it's already established.
Generally, in situations like this, we're trying to match our equivalent zoning district to the existing land use and existing development pattern of the area. And when we get into larger annexations, if say someone was bringing in multiple acres, we would look at what's the appropriate land use and density for that development. But in a situation like this, where essentially it's a failed septic system, they're coming in and already developed residential subdivision, we're just trying to match what they have.
Thank you.
Other technical questions? Hey, seeing, oh,
Real-
go ahead.
real
I'm
quick,
sorry.
So if I'm seeing
Michael.
this correctly, right, the, across the street and right behind it are SR3 and SR5, so this is all,
So this is SR3.
yeah. And
This
it's
is
more
the
dense up there.
smaller lot size, SR5.
Yeah, okay. All right, so this is in character. Anyway.
Any other technical questions? Okay, anyone here from the public to speak to this item today? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Back to the commission.
Motion to adopt the findings and recommendation as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Discussion? All right, call the roll.
Kiefer,
Aye.
O'Meara,
Aye.
Perry,
Aye.
Mitchell,
Aye.
Prop,
Aye.
Erickson. Ford,
Aye.
Hintz,
Aye.
Wojtek.
Aye.
Motion carried 9-0.
We have a planning director's report, and then we do have a workshop following, so.
Yes,
start with-
so starting with the planner's report, now that we've had majority of the board positions refilled, we do have our executorial zoning committee, which meets, maybe once a year, maybe every other year.
Twice if we're lucky.
Yeah, that, we have some limited executorial zoning authority. The statutes still provide us for rezonings in the kind of joint area between ourselves and the town of Algoma. Two of the members that are currently appointed to that body are no longer part of this body. State statute dictates that the extraterritorial committee is filled by the members of this board. So we have one full member position open and one alternate member position open. Typically, the way we've done this is ask if there are people who are interested in participating. As we have two spots, if we have more than two members who are interested in participating, the mayor would be able to choose who she wants to fill those slots. So that being said, presently, the members that are on there are Mr. Hintz as an alternate, Mr. Wojtek, and Ms. Prop. Are there any other members that would be interested in serving on that extraterritorial zoning committee?
We need two more.
We need two more. We would
One
to
full,
fill
one
out what we
alternate.
have.
I'd be fine to do it. I'd be fine to do
Mr.
it.
Ford, anyone else interested?
Did you say you needed one full and one?
One full and one alternate.
I'm willing to go up to full, so that way we'd have the two of us on there, or unless,
That would be at your discretion. If you wanted to
Oh.
move him to the full member and have two alternates.
And have two alternates?
We still have two alternates.
We still
so
have two.
He's presently an alternate.
Yep, gotcha. Does anyone else got a burning desire? So that would seem appropriate that we could appoint Mr. Hintz as a full, Mr. Kiefer as an alternate, correct? I'm sorry.
Ford.
Or
Hey, John wants
Ford
to
as
do
an
it.
alternate.
No, I'll be an alternate as well. If
And
you need,
then-
We could still use one more alternate if
And
someone
we
is
can
willing to
still,
serve.
yeah, we can still add one more alternate,
I'd be
seeing as
willing.
how they infrequently meet.
Yeah, hardly ever.
Mr. Kiefer?
Yes?
Beautiful.
Excellent.
Perfect, thank you.
Is that it, sir?
That's it.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Second.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, sorry, workshop. Workshop's
All those in
separate.
favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, we're done. Now workshop time.